Welcome to Tanked Up, the podcast all about video games and craft beer. I'm Ben, and I'm here with Lucy.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
And we are joined by a guest, because Aadil is off on his travels once again. Back to Canada for a family wedding, I believe. But we are joined by Adam Thomas. Returning Adam Thomas!
I know. I did promise that it wouldn't be 100 episodes.
That's a bit
before my next appearance last time.
3.
2. Yeah.
Good. A swift return.
Great stand-in for me.
Now a stand-in for Adam. So I got to go next week for Adam to come in.
No,
just so we
because
rotate
that would make me
around.
host, and it would be a 4-hour-long podcast.
Oh no, I should have made you host this week, Lucy.
Talking about cats or something.
With neither Aadil or I on here, so no cats present whatsoever.
Well, Lucy, we could turn it into a rugby podcast.
We could. I was actually heard on
plenty.
the radio. There's some some 50-year-old guy, and he was like, "No, my mate's just decided to start a rugby podcast called Maul Over."
Ooh.
Yeah. Adam, we know what Adam's going to do at work tomorrow.
Download that.
Yeah, backlog of podcasts for you to listen to.
Nice. So, Lucy,
Yes.
you and I are going to be drinking. Adam, as he did a couple of weeks ago, doesn't like beer, so won't be joining us tonight. Have you got your Ribena again this week, Adam?
I do indeed. Fresh out the fridge.
Nice.
That's
Nice
even
and
better
cool.
than drinking nothing. Drinking like
That's true. That's very true. It is better than drinking nothing. So, Lucy, just as you're mid-swig of some water, what are you drinking this week?
I'm going to start off with a beer that I found in Morrison's today. I'm not sure if you've had this one, Ben. It's Pineapple Milkshake IPA from Black Sheep. Was it one that... I'm not sure.
I don't think I have.
Maybe it was another one I was thinking of from... Maybe it was the unbarred one, or maybe I was thinking of that you had from Tesco.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's 5.3%. I have no... Oh, it's got like... Oh, it's a little ram on the front of the can.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Black Sheep. I've only really heard about them recently. I think they've been kicking around for a few years, but yeah, this was in Morrison's for their... It was 4 for £6 deal.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Brewed with fresh pineapple juice, lactose, and a touch of vanilla. This is a juicy, tropical, and smooth IPA. Denali hops add even more pineapple notes, as well as a light bitterness to finish. Lightly carbonated and uber juicy.
Nice.
See if it lives up to expectations.
Yeah, I know Black Sheep have been kicking around for a while. They're definitely a name that I'm more familiar with more traditional ales. I don't think I've ever seen anything of this kind of style from them before. I think everything I've seen is sort of your 440ml bottle, sort of traditional bitter.
Yeah.
They probably do a lot more styles. I just haven't.
Yeah,
seen
that's
them or
why I
tried
hadn't
to.
really heard of them, and then I just went on their website a few weeks ago and I actually first heard of them. It's like, oh, the traditional, like ale makers and stuff like that.
Yeah. They haven't called this something different. It's not like a different kind of range by them. They've not called themselves something slightly different to signify that it's a different range. No,
just Pineapple Milkshake IPA.
Nice.
And tell you, when I crack the can, I can still smell it. You are getting a lot of pineapple, a lot of like sweetness and vanilla off that aroma. So
Nice.
interesting to see if it tastes like that too.
Yeah, good. Sticking with animals, I'm drinking a beer from Wild Horse Brewing Company. It's a new brewery for me. I've not had anything from these guys before. This is the Serpent and the Worm. It's a Saison, 5%. Some nice can art there.
Yes, nice.
And these guys are from Wales, Llandudno. So, it says a nod to Llandudno's twin town, Wormholt. Wormut? I don't know where it is. Oh, in French Flanders, there you go. The name of Llandudno's famous Great Orme headland is derived from the Norse word for sea serpent. The Serpent and the Worm, there you go, is a clean saison brewed with struspelt and lemon drop hops. And then I assume it says the same thing in Welsh underneath. Or it may say something different because there's an exclamation mark right at the end, but there's no exclamation mark in the English version. Something cool for the Welsh people there to know more than me. There you go.
The Welsh and the Nordic people.
Yeah, I mean, could be.
Adam, you like God of War. Is that correct? Does that check out in the Norse mythology?
I have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
Right, so what else does this contain? I think just the streusel spalt and the lemon drop hops are the only things that are suggested. It does have barley, wheat and rye in as well. It contains yeast, some unfiltered beer, best served at between 5 and 7 degrees. So I'm going to crack that open, get that in my glass. We'll come back to you, Lucy. How's the black sheep?
Yeah, it tastes like it smelt, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Definitely getting a lot of fruit in there. But I think what slightly not overpowers it, but the forefront of the taste is that lactose, that creamy vanilla like taste. It's not too sweet for me because, as many listeners will know, I'm not really into very sweet beers, but this is just on the edge. So it's palatable for me. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, looking at it, it's completely clear. Slight bit of carbonation, as it said on the tin.
It's almost a little bit bronzy.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely like amber coloured. Yeah, just clear as hell though. But yeah, it's quite nice. I wasn't expecting it. Because pineapple's a very subtle fruit sometimes in beer, so I wasn't really expecting that. So I was thinking, I might be a bit let down by this. But yeah, it's impressed me so far.
Nice. Is it?
Yeah.
Does it sort of come across more as a, does it have that hint of like a traditional ale to it with a big sort of maltiness to it? It's just like a milkshake IPA from anyone or not from anyone else, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm not sure if I'm conflating like maltiness with like vanilla, because
that's like sweetness just being
maybe it is a bit of the malt, but definitely the lactose and the vanilla I'm tasting. But yeah, it's like really, it's really easy. It's really smooth. That helps with like a little bit of carbonation, not too much, and so it's quite easy drinking. But yeah, it's like, to use a better phrase, it's thirst quenching. You don't need to take another sip. It's very refreshing. So yeah, I'm really impressed with this, to be fair.
Nice.
Very impressed.
Nice. One to look out for in Morrison's, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they call it a milkshake IPA. Hasn't got that like density to it that you think of like a juice bomb or like ice cream pale ale.
Yeah,
It's a lot more thin than that, but that's nice because if I had that like heavy viscosity with the sweetness as well, that might tip it over the edge for me. But this is a bit thinner, a bit more delicate, easier to drink. So it's going down quickly though. I should have picked up a few more. Run back to Morrison's.
I might have a couple more lying around, but they're probably a little bit in the fridge. They'll probably be hot after today.
Oh yeah.
So if we finish early enough, you'll be able to make it before it shuts.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yes. So,
like a mad woman,
just running down the street, arms just screaming beer every 30 yards.
Yeah, they probably think I need something urgent, like toilet paper or something. It's like, nope, just beer.
Like trousers still around your ankles, but not for toilet roll. Like. Oh dear, I can see it. It's a beautiful sight. So, the Serpent and the Worm, the Saison from Wild Horse. Smells nice, smells sweet. Got a little bit of an edge to it, a little bit of a herbiness to it. Slight spicy sort of nose. Really, really clear. Very nice, lemony, very yellowy kind of straw colour, but just doesn't have that. It's got a slight murk to it, but not a haze. You guys can see my thumb probably just through the back there. Yeah. The head was quite frothy to begin with, but it's dissipated really, really quickly. Flavour-wise, that is very, very light. Super, super light. Nice and carbonated as well. Getting a nice light herby sort of note to it. A little bit of citrus, just a tiny, tiny little bit, just kind of like backing up. But really, it is that kind of that herbal, floral kind of notes that are kicking through, with a very, very light citrus and a really light sort of, I don't know whether it's maybe like a slight pepperiness to it. Just giving it a little bit of a tongue burn, a little bit of a bite kind of right towards the end.
Yeah.
But it's so delicate with everything else that it blends in very well, that it just kind of fades in quite nicely as the other things sort of fade out. I know they said it was a lemon drop hop, and I don't know whether that is clouding sort of what I'm tasting. But getting a little bit of, almost with that carbonation, it almost feels a little bit kind of like a lemon drop kind of sweet, really. Like that little bit of sharpness, a little bit of kind of fizz on the tongue as well. Yeah, whether my mind has just equated that after reading the word and it being a carbonated saison, who fucking knows? Unless everyone else goes, yes, this is exactly what I've got from this beer as well.
We'll run to rate beer immediately.
Yes, it is really nice. It's really easy to drink. Definitely, definitely a good beer for the end of the day, after a long hot day, as today has sort of been.
It's been very nice, very nice.
Picked well, if I say so myself.
Yes. Congratulations.
As with every beer, it's going to go down far too quickly. So let's crack into our topics of conversation for this week. Adam is the guest. I'm going to let you start, mate. And we've rattled on for, the last 10 minutes about beer, so we'll let you have a chance to talk.
Yeah. I suppose I should actually find the article. Oops.
Yeah, I briefly saw this. I thought it was a good business venture, considering what's going on. So, Adam, if you can expand.
Yeah, sorry, I was wading my way through all of the fucking cookies.
Yeah, I tried to stall a bit.
Yeah, I try to get all the way through so I can actually read the bloody article. Modern world, man.
Oh no, yeah. I accept. You should just be there should just be like a plug-in where it just accepts everything.
Another pop-up. No, I don't want to sign up for your email blast. Leave me in peace. God's sake, Tech Radar.
And then you got to watch the adverts.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, we're going to talk about something that's going to improve the modern world a little bit.
Yeah.
For us, if we're as gamers, which is Good Old Games. GOG are going to be launching their next version of their kind of, what do you call it? Web portal
platform.
Yeah.
It's GOG Galaxy 2.0, and it's not going to be just another game library place. There's been lots of stuff in the news recently about Steam and Epic and their stores and stuff like that. So instead of having just that, which obviously Good Old Games has as well, it's going to bring in the ability to, kind of merge everything together and pull all of it together so that you'll have it all in one place, which is, the internet dream being reborn instead of it being split up and broken apart again. So you'll be able to load in like your Steam library and everything to it and launch it from there, and it'll keep track of all of your achievements and stuff. And it'll even have like your console games and stuff like that on it. Obviously, you won't be able to launch them from it.
Yeah,
you'll have to go on your actual console.
Yeah, I did wonder whether is it going to work with something like remote play through PlayStation. Whether, because that's just the same as something like Steam. Okay, it's just an app which opens up. I suppose it's a little bit different because it's not necessarily a native database to the PC that you're running this on for it to kind of pull from. But I wonder whether there is a way that they can get that tech in there as well, that you can just, through GOG Galaxy, you can be, okay, I can see my PlayStation library here too. I want to play that game right now whilst I'm sat on my PC, and it just pops up, remote play for you.
Yeah, well, they put in there that their aim is to make it possible so that you can have like cross-platform chat and stuff like that as well through it, using it. So I imagine if they can make that work, they'll be able to make what you're talking about work as well.
Yeah,
you would think that would be one of the things that they're aiming for if they're wanting to make it an all-encompassing. Well, this is the place you go, and you'll be able to do basically everything from here. Track of everything.
It's also interesting to see sort of like what the payoff is for them. By getting people onto, say, GOG Galaxy, knowing that they can combine all of their, even if they're just a PC gamer, knowing they can combine all of their different libraries in one place, because there are apps that do this as well currently, that you can combine your libraries in all sort of one place. They're not made by anyone affiliated with any of these platforms for any of these publishers and companies, but there are apps where you can see and launch a lot of your games in different libraries already. But like, what does this actually give GOG? Does it just give them a bit more mind share? Does it give them the, hey, since you're already here, come to our store?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I think it's a smart move. Because people will be like, yeah, I might as well sign up for it, see how it is, and then pop up, oh, we have a sale, or why don't you buy this game? And people probably just stay in that ecosystem, buy games in that ecosystem, just be happy.
Well, PC gamers aren't usually happy.
They never are.
Is anyone though?
Well, yeah,
no gamers happy, to be honest. Yeah. They're always upset
I meant
about
just
something,
any humans in general. Never mind gamers. But yeah,
true. This is becoming
a bit bleak. I think making yourself your default place where you start from gives them that opportunity, and they're banking as well. With Good Old Games being owned by CD Projekt that do the Witcher games and stuff like that. They've got a lot of good credit in the bank to use.
Yeah, sure.
And when they've put up on the Tech Radar article about they're not going to sell on your data to third parties and stuff like that, and everything will be kept.
Yeah, because people massively care about that.
Yeah. But and the important thing with that is people kind of are going to trust them a little bit more than you would trust Google or Steam or anyone else who might launch something like this and say the same thing, and you go, yeah, right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're a solid platform. Not really engaged much with GOG much myself, but they've got good mind share in the industry. So who knows how well this will do.
Yeah, I know recently they'd kind of had a few of their financials put out there, and that they weren't making a huge amount from GOG, at least like game sales and things like that. But GOG for me was always that place you went where you wanted to buy a game which you couldn't get anywhere else anymore. Yeah,
like classic games, like coming back.
Yeah,
and stuff
completely.
Like that,
And I think that's kind of like how it started up. With like CD Projekt starting up in a way that they were importing or downloading, kind of like torrenting games and then putting them out into the Polish market. Because they weren't available sort of officially. Kind of like, that's always what I felt GOG was. It's almost this kind of like way back machine where you could be like, oh, I really want to go and play this game from like 15 years ago, and this is the only place that I can play it, where actually when I click play, it's gonna just play. I haven't got to set my machine back into like Windows 95 mode to be able to play anything. Made everything really easy, made it all really streamlined. So if they're taking...
And they were hot on like DRM free stuff.
Yeah, and it's all DRM free. Exactly.
Yeah.
So if they can take what they've already done and bring it to that kind of that model where they're bringing in all of your libraries and things like that, it'd be interesting to see this step. But then the next step after that, are you able to just go through GOG Galaxy to go to the Steam store to buy a game on Steam, or will they then limit that if it's available on GOG Galaxy? Will they take a little bit of a cut or put some money on top if you're getting it through GOG Galaxy? Like, how that works as a business model is kind of a bit, at least from the information we've got and stuff like that, kind of like up in the air. I'd imagine they've been thinking about this and what they can do, but I think it's sort of a really interesting just step forward for everything, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, see how it does.
The part that interests me the most is that, is just the integration side of it, because it's one of the things that's came up quite a lot in the last few years about, like, the cross-platform like play between PlayStation and Xbox and PC for things like games in particular. Like the likes of Rocket League. It's multiplayer focused. Splintering the player base on games like that is the thing that kills them over the years. Which is something you can do in the likes of like a Call of Duty game with the map packs and stuff like that. It slowly splinters your audience to the point where lots of people who don't buy the packs just drop off it completely.
Yeah.
So games like Rocket League, that made the effort not to do that by making all the DLC, like free stuff for cosmetic items and things like that you could buy, and giving you the arenas and stuff for free and new game modes for free. They made the effort, and then the actual console platforms and stuff like that made life difficult for them with regards to the cross-platform play. And you know why they do that, because Sony got a lot of stick for it this time round, but when it was the 360 and PS3, it was Xbox that were getting the stick for it, because when you're in the leading position, you don't want to change anything.
There's no incentive to.
There's no incentive to bother, so stuff like that. So having a place that circumvents that and means that you can, go through this GOG Galaxy 2.0, and I can send messages to people on Xbox and get them to play games and stuff like that and find them. Because you know how bad it is as well when you got to, right, what's your name on this and what's your name on that, and what's your Switch name code thing that's 50 characters long or whatever. And then you go onto a new platform and you discover that the name that you usually use is fucking taken, so you have to use a different one. And it ruins everything.
Sometimes taken by yourself several years in the past and you didn't realise.
I can't get into my Ubisoft club because I've used both of my emails. And I can't get it. I can't get it to reset anymore.
Because they gave me through like... was it like two-factor authentication? Once I set that up, they then sent me a load of codes, or supposedly they sent me a load of codes in an email, which I can't find. Don't know where those codes have gone. But my Google Authenticator just doesn't have Ubisoft on there, so I've got no codes to get in. So that's it. I'm going on there now.
Who's playing Ubisoft games, really? Come on.
Yeah, well, it was back when I did.
I signed up for like... What's it called? What's the Ubisoft one called?
It was Ubisoft Club or something like that.
Yeah, it was Uplay, wasn't it?
Uplay, yes. Yeah, I signed up for that probably like 10 years ago or something. I don't know.
It's like you said, Ben, there is apps and stuff that collate all of this stuff, particularly on PC. But because they're not official, there's a kind of a reluctance to use them.
Yeah.
I certainly don't fancy using them in case it screws up something, or you get
that's fair.
So instead you've got Steam, you've got Epic, you've got EA Origins, you've got Uplay, you've got this, you've got good old game, you've got so many stupid things. Something that's...
Give me the file and let me download it. Just put it in Windows and done.
So if GOG can get round this by officially partnering with them all and building it all together properly, and working with them to put that into place, which is what they said they're going to do, that solves all of those problems for the most part. And then if they can build in that social network side to it, to make your everything so much easier for finding people across different platforms that you're already friends with and other things, it's just going to make life a hell of a lot easier.
It will. You'll just have that absolute mass memory loss, won't you, as soon as you open up GOG Galaxy 2 and it goes put in your Steam details. And you go, okay, yeah, that's them. Put in your GOG details. Okay, yeah, I'm already signed in, but it wants me to re-sign in, so now I got to do this, okay. And then put in these details, and you just got to go through all of them over and over again. I mean, we have currently, rather than me opening up GOG Galaxy 2 and me having to go through all of that and sign into all of that, what's the difference between me just clicking on the Steam icon and it automatically logging me in?
Yeah.
I think for me currently there isn't much of an incentive.
Yeah.
To actually I've just signed up for the beta. If you have a GOG Galaxy a GOG Galaxy account, you can go on on goggalaxy.com and sign up for the beta when it becomes available to see.
Hopefully it would be something along the lines of what you can do with like Facebook and things like that, where you just use your account and link it, and then that'll be it, done.
Yeah,
you won't need to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So you'll have to spend a whole day resetting passwords and trying 15 different email addresses to get the right ones so that you can actually log into it. But once you link everything, then hopefully that'll be it, just done.
Should be, yeah.
That's the dream.
That is.
Well, yeah, and then hopefully they can release a nice, mobile app as well, so you can, buy games
and maybe
just on your
even
phone
one
through that.
onto like the actual consoles, like PlayStation in it as well.
Yeah.
To properly link all that up, because that is the one thing that would separate it still, so it would be more a PC only thing, even though you can link your console stuff to it. Because I find that even with the likes of Discord and stuff, you can put your details and stuff into it, but I can't actually use it on the PlayStation, I don't think.
Maybe they'd let you do it if like the Windows 10 store or something like that.
I think they do. So when you're in Discord and you have the members of whatever server you're in, the list on the side, it does pop up saying this person is playing a certain game, and I know that links with Epic, with Steam, with Xbox as well. I don't know whether that is just through I don't think it's people playing games on Windows through the Windows Store. I think that is people who have signed in with their Xbox, and it is talking to each other and it is connecting, saying this person is playing this game on their Xbox currently. But it doesn't do it, or at least when I looked last, I think months and months and months ago, it doesn't do it with PlayStation. It didn't. So.
Yeah, because I think Xbox are rolling out something called Xbox Game Bar or something like that, which I think it's just more.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I think it's unless it was I was about to say unless it's an actual bar that you drink at. I think it's just some corporate speak for they're just putting more integration in Windows 10 for like gaming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And some rubbish. I don't know. Yeah, I think they announced it yesterday or something like that. Okay. So I didn't actually check into it. I was like, Windows 10 and games, and I was like, okay, well, when someone can explain this to me in layman's terms, then I'll check it out.
Phil Spencer will say something on about 30 seconds on the PC side during E3. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Who have you covered just?
Yeah, I mean, there's Xbox Play Anywhere, so I don't know how it's going to be different to that. Who knows? I should read up on it before commenting.
Find out it's now completely different.
Yeah.
It's actually a bar that. Is it just across from the E3 Centre or whatever?
Yeah, probably.
We'll never get to experience it ever. Oh, good. Adam, have you got anything sort of further you want to comment on the GOG Galaxy sort of client, or this the news?
No, I think that's the key thing for it, is just if they can get the console integration going, because I absolutely love using Discord, and it's so much better than the days of trying to use Skype or even Steam's own like voice chat and stuff like that. It's a bazillion times better, but it's really irritating when a couple of my friends don't have PlayStation, they're only playing on PC, and it would be nice to sit on the Discord with them and not have to use my phone to do that, or to set up my computer and set up the PlayStation and do it that way. It'd be much easier if you could do it all together. And if GOG can pull that off, then happy days. That'll be that sorted. Wouldn't need to worry about it ever again.
And I guess from that sort of point of view,
Around.
yeah, from that point of view, it is just sort of maybe more the social side of the integration from, say, Xbox and PlayStation that you yourself, Adam, are looking for, kind of thing. Not necessarily the can I play these games through my system versus I'm playing this on my PC. Someone's playing on, playing Rocket League. There's now cross-play everywhere possible. Let's all be able to chat in one place.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Good. So, GOG Galaxy 2.0 is coming at some point. Who knows when? Lucy, I'm going to come to you first because I think both you and I are just full of games this week.
Yeah, full of games. So full of games. I wrote a list, so I don't get any. So some I will just skim over. I finished Bastion.
Yeah.
Very good game. I was much more enamoured with its like style and music and stuff like that, rather than and its whole aesthetic, rather than its story and its gameplay was fun. But be interesting to see what Transistor's like, which I got free on the Epic's Game Store.
Oh yes, it's very good. Transistor is a good game.
Yeah, I'll try it out. What else? I caved and I bought Totally Accurate Battle Simulator.
Yeah.
Which is a ton of fun. Only played a few levels in the campaign, so can't speak to it much at this point, but everyone knows what that is at this point. If you don't, where have you been? Fun. It's just stupid fun, man. But my PC was struggling to run it, so I'm going to try it on my Mac, which might be a bit more powerful.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games that it doesn't look like it should take up much, aesthetically and stuff. But when you get down to it, you're like, I want 500 archers versus a wizard or something like that.
That's not happening on my.
It just chugs and chugs and chugs. Like,
Yeah, I changed the resolution way down. So I'll probably load it on my Mac and give it a shout.
I want this 3-pixel man to fight this 4-pixel man.
It's the googly eyes. That's what takes up all the memory. I played a game called Glass Masquerade, and it's just a puzzle game. Like literally, you're fitting puzzle pieces together. It's very relaxing.
Oh, like not a puzzle game, but a
puzzle game.
A
game that
yeah. No,
it's a piecing game.
Don't be silly, listen. It's not a puzzle game.
Yeah, it's just like you fit in like little pieces into like these like stained glass windows, and it's very calming. It was something to do whilst I was listening to podcasts. Not much more to say on that. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Ooh. I played a game, I've been playing this today, called Balacelot. Balance.
Is this the one you shared in the...
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically a very physicsy side-scrolling game. Picture something like... what's Bennett Foddy's game that you played, Ben, where you climb up that mountain?
Getting Over It.
Getting Over It, or like Quap or Manuel Samuel. You're basically this medieval knight who wants to be a knight. Well, he's not a knight. He wants to be a knight. He wants to joust. But he's too poor to afford a horse, so he's just on a unicycle instead. And the whole crux of the game is you're on these side-scrolling levels, and you have to get him on this unicycle, and he's got a joust with him. It's very crazy physics. You're having to direct him with this unicycle just flailing all over the place. I use the controller to play it. It's basically left trigger to go back on the unicycle, right trigger to go forward, left bumper to lean back, right bumper to lean forward, and X to joust, and A to jump. It's got the aesthetic of like a medieval painting, like a tapestry. And right now I'm just fighting snails. because in medieval tapestry there was a lot of people fighting snails. I think I watched a Vox video why there were so many snails, but I can't remember why. But anyway,
maybe that's all there was to eat. That's all the hunter-gatherers had left to do in medieval times. Just hunt snails and eat them.
But this guy called Lance, he's not doing too well. Like, I've killed him plenty of times, and every time you lean too far forward or back. If you lean far forward, you might rest on his joust, but sometimes if you can just literally face plant like a ledge or something like that, and it gives this wonderful bone cracking sound bite. It's just as soon as he bashes into something or bounces his head off a low platform or something, it never stops being funny. And you're just playing this game through it's like a grimace, but you're always smiling because it's fun. But it's like, oh, is he gonna make it? And yeah, it's good for. I've started playing. I think I've played about an hour and a half today. It came out today. Thank you to the developer Jestercraft for sending me a code. But yeah, it's good fun. It's I don't know how long I'll stick with it because this is the game that could potentially get very, very, very frustrating depending on how hard these levels get. I think there's over 20 or something. I've done about 4 or 5. But we'll see, because I was just looking at the trailer. I mean, I'm just fighting snails right now, and they're quite passive. But then you have all these weird things, and
frogs.
And suns, evil Mario suns coming to get you and stuff like that. It's just, it looks like it gets crazy quite quickly, so... I want to say that I'd like to finish it, but I might break several controllers in the process. So we'll see. But yeah, check it out. There's a demo on Steam as well, so if anyone wants to check it out, it's good fun. It's bizarre physics, and I felt myself getting better at wielding this unwieldy man as I got through the level. So that was good. Balacelot. It's balanced with lot at the end, so I like that.
It's hard when you think about it, because you want to say balance lot.
Yeah, balance.
But then it's because it's yeah.
We'll go with that. But yeah, it's good fun. Can't remember the price on it, but yeah, check it out anyway. Check out the demo, see if you like it. Put it on your wish list. Right, Ben. I have a few more games to talk about.
Yeah.
Should we have a beer next, or shall I continue?
That's probably a good idea. Let's have a beer.
Let's have a beer. Okay. And Adam, you're free to get another Ribena. Did you get a 6-pack of the little cartons, or have you got the full-on squash, bottle?
Yeah.
How do you take your Ribena? On ice?
I make it up myself when it's in a jug in the fridge, so it's always nice and chilled.
You are what we call a Renaissance man.
No little, foily pouch Capri Sun type things for you. That's how I take my Ribena, I think.
That's how I take it when I go on trips.
Just on the train, just pop a little straw in, suck it down.
Because you would look silly carrying about a jug and a glass.
It's very true. Yeah, you'd clink everywhere with all the ice you'd put in it as well to keep it cool.
Right.
So, beers, Lucy.
Beer. I've got a beer from Whiplash. Sorry, it's called Melody Day, and it's a micro IPA. I did have to check that this wasn't the one that I had a few weeks ago. It is a different beer, I believe.
Okay.
Because that was called Small Little Something. Somethings. Oh, it was so long ago, nobody cared.
That's the thing, Lucy.
The measuring jug.
Sometimes I'm really good at remembering
beers
from way back when, and then on a week-to-week basis, and just got no idea.
Yeah, I think it was called Small Little Somethings. Small Little... I can't remember. Anyway. Yeah, this is from Whiplash. It's a similar strength. It's 2.8%. So yeah, micro IPA. There's no flavour text, unfortunately. Yeah, barley oat, sweet hops. Yeah. No flavour text. I don't think they usually do. From Whiplash, but yeah.
No.
Oh wait, sorry. It's got the Vienna malt, wheat malt, oat malt, Enigma, and Simcoe hops. So
Nice.
that's what's gone into it.
The important part, rather than the flavour text, the ingredients.
Yes.
What you're getting in there.
Yeah, and it was right on the front of the can. I don't know why I didn't see it.
Nice. Good. So I'm staying in Wales for the evening, and I'm not drinking a beer by Loca Poly because they had to change their name.
Mm-hmm.
So I am drinking a beer from Polly's Brew Company, and this is the Sentinel. It's a Simcoe India Pale Ale, 6.8%. Again, there's no flavour text. Just a nice...
Sentinel, not Centennial, was that?
No, so the beer is... So, see, this is what I thought. I thought I was going to have, like, Centennial in there, but it's not. It's just called Sentinel.
Okay.
And it's a Simcoe IPA. Not what I thought it was Centennial with an S, thinking there was a couple of different hops in there. No, not at all. But I know they launched their like, was it called their augment range or augmented range?
Yes,
something like that.
Yeah.
And the can art for this one is very similar to that range of beers that they released.
Yeah.
I know that they have still got a lot of their where they've got their name, big font on the can sort of thing. And even with their new name, they're still releasing those kinds of beers as well. And I don't know really what the difference is between the two, but
yeah, they were saying that they were allowed to keep, pushing out their old stock with their old labels, so which is nice.
Yes, it was. I think the name change came down to a Swedish drinks maker,
Right.
who has a range of, I don't know whether it's even beers, but a range of drinks with the word Loca in.
Yeah.
And they'd copyrighted it, and they suggested that Loca Poly was too close because these guys have now tried to ship internationally, and they want to go on the international market. So Loca Poly changed to Polly's Brewing Company to be able to get around that and still ship. But as you say, Lucy, I think they were still allowed to send out anything they had left in the UK market, I think.
Oh, right. Okay, in the UK.
Right, I'm going to pour this. Lucy. Oh, I say I'm going to pour it. That's got a lovely smell. Oh, just off straight from the can. That's nice. Lucy, how's your beer? Have you had a chance to sup yet?
I've had a little. Really, I should have started with this one because it was, it's 2.8%. And obviously, the flavour's going to be a bit more subdued, which it is.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit of citrus. Still getting that nice. Even though it's only 2.8%, it's still getting quite a nice thickness, quite a nice medium body to it, which is nice.
It's always good with a micro beer, small beer, to have that sort of extra body to it.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the malt, but it tastes a bit... you're getting a bit of bitterness on the end, and there's a flavour I just can't pin down. It's like a little bit of a smoky flavour right at the end. Maybe it's the Vienna malt. Yeah, that's weird. Oat malt as well. Yeah, that's interesting. You're getting like a little bit of pepperiness, a bit of smokiness on the end, which I've never expect from this. But yeah, it's nice and light, refreshing. If someone gave me this and just said, drink this, I wouldn't be able to tell it's 2.8% beer. I'd probably say between 4 and 6 maybe. So it's got a lot of flavour, probably the hops bring that out even more.
Yeah.
So yeah, like micro IPAs are good now. Like table beers are very good now.
Yes.
Full of flavour.
Well, we say now, I mean, like the Colonel have seemed to have had table beers down for years and years and years. I think everyone is just sort of catching up to them now.
Yeah, I wish the aftertaste was a bit more fruity. Very much getting that smokiness and that malt. It feels like the fruit suddenly stops and then you're getting a little bit of smokiness and the malts. I wish the fruitiness continued along with them. But otherwise, yeah, it's a really good beer. Very nice.
Nice. That's good. We talk about cats being on the podcast. My cat just jumped on the fence behind me and is meowing voraciously. Clearly something's up. Anyway.
Yes, sign.
This beer, Sentinel. That's it. He can smell the beer. He wants it. He's ready. Sentinel from Polly's Brew Company.
I'll always still call them Local Polly.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? When you've got a name change,
I'll be like, who
everyone
the
knows
hell's
you from
Polly?
before. Well,
who the hell's Polly?
so I do know the story behind this because I read the blog post.
Yes, I did, but I
Polly
forgot.
is the name of the horse of one of the founders of Local Polly's, and it was stabled in the building that they first started brewing in.
Right, okay. Yeah, I read this blog post, and I forgot everything apart from... Oh, Local Polly changed their name. And I will not remember their new name.
Horse. I've just realised, 2 Welsh beers, but it ties in well.
White Horse.
And the first beer I had was from Wild Horse. There we go.
A Wild Horse, yes.
Unintentional theme.
The White Horse is a pub.
I don't believe that was unintentional at all. I reckon you've been sitting planning that all day.
Adam, nothing is planned on this.
Well, I almost. I mean, it doesn't. It's not. You're right. I almost went for European beers because of the MEP votes today in the elections for the European Parliament.
Keep your politics out of my beer.
Yeah, and then realised I'd only bought one beer that was not from the UK. So that quickly went out the window.
And now we know how you voted.
Do you? It was Greens. I voted for Greens. That's fine. I don't mind telling everybody. So, Polly's Brew Company, Sentinel. It's really nice. I mean, it's Simcoe, just all the way through. It's got that nice sort of light fruitiness to it. It's got this really sort of lovely sweetness that kind of subdues into this nice piney kind of resinous sort of aftertaste. It's almost kind of like oily nature to it coming through. Very, very light bitterness sort of like kicking around towards the end, but it's much more of that aftertaste of that resin, of that pine that's kind of kicking around more than a big sort of bitterness to it. So really easy drinking. What was it, like 6.5%, something up around there? 6.8. I mean, wouldn't tell that at all. Just nice and light, nice and easy. Just a really nice sort of Simcoe beer, really, to kind of just pushing sort of what that does. So it's really nice that with Simcoe, the nose and the flavour both come through, almost exactly the same. You're getting that fruit on the nose. You're getting the kind of like that stone fruits just kicking through, and then that even on the nose, that pininess, it's just kind of there, just backing it up. So yeah, not much else to say really on that.
Good beer.
Super easy, good beer.
Right. Did you want to talk about your game? So I'm not, just rabbiting on for a whole hour just talking about the games I played.
Well, let me mention one whilst in between, because it is a game from Supergiant, so makers of Bastion and Transistor, and I've been playing a lot of Hades, which is the new game that they have in early access on the Epic Store.
Yep.
And it follows kind of like the same sort of vein, that isometric. I was going to say kind of like hack and slash, but it's.
No, don't describe it as that.
It's sort of it is really like you're button mashing. You've got attacks, you've got a special attack, you've got ranged weapons, but you are some bloke's name that I don't remember.
You're a god.
Yeah,
You're the son of Zeus.
Son of Hades.
Son of Hades.
Son of Hades.
Come on, Adam. You know God of War, Greek mythology. Come on.
I think you seriously overestimate how well I know that stuff.
You have a PS4. You love God of War. It's your favourite game of all
Mate,
time.
it's all about the Norsemen now, isn't it? None of these Greek people.
Let's call him... I'm sure it begins with an A.
It begins with a T. I think it's like Tartarus or
I thought it began with
Tartarus or something like that.
Archimedes.
Yeah, there you go. So you play as Archimedes, Hades' son, and you are trying to escape, his domain. You're trying to escape hell, essentially, and it is a randomly generated room battler. So you get into a room, you fight all of the enemies in there, and once you've defeated them all, you get something. That then builds your character. That's how you kind of level and how you get better sort of through each run that you do. So then you move to the next room and you battle a load of things and you get something else. And a lot of these times you know what's going to come, and occasionally you get to choose which room you want to go in and pick kind of like the reward that you get at the end. And a lot of these rewards revolve around, well, all of them revolve around kind of leveling you up in some sort of way. So the cool thing about this is that you get boons from all of the different gods. So Zeus turns up, who else? Athena, whatever, bloody... Dionysus, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they all turn up and they give you certain boons.
I just guessed a god. I didn't
you guessed right. But they might give you a better attack or a slightly different attack, or it gives you some kind of status effect to your attack. There's a dash, so suddenly, like if Zeus turns up, he's like, have this cool dash where every time you dash, a lightning bolt will come down and hit one of your enemies. So it all adds to this super frenetic, quite fluid combat that they've got going on in each of these kind of like in each of these encounters that you have. It has a roguelike element to it because it's very easy to die, and once you die you just end up back in Hades Hall, you run through it and then start another run. None of those boons or anything carry over. You've got to essentially start your run again. But
absolutely nothing.
Well, so there is an element when you're in Hades domain that you can level up a little bit. So you can unlock skills that might add a little bit of health to you, or they might allow you to regenerate health as you move into another room, things like this. But it's really that moment-to-moment play in the run that you're having, which is the real kind of build that you get as you're going through. The game took me a little while to get to grips with, kind of the attacking, the dashing. I think I was trying to be a bit more strategic, and like Lucy, when you come to play Transistor, you can play that in a way where you can pause the action and you can pick the moves that you want to do almost very strategically to get you about this, almost like a board to defeat as many enemies or hurt as many enemies as possible. Hades isn't like that at all. You don't have that pause. You are just
free flowing,
exactly. It is like pure hack and slash kind of thing. So those boons kind of like really help in that way, that you're like, right, I want to pick this because I know actually I dash a lot, I'm getting out of people's way all the time, I want some kind of status effect or some kind of damage added to my dash. So it allows you to build quite randomly, but you can kind of that from these three things that you could pick after meeting Zeus, you want this one because this is the kind of way that you play.
It's a bit Dead Cellsy.
A little bit. It's quite easy to tailor it to what you want to do. And there's various weapons that you can pick as well to be able to run through with.
So it's not... You're not always relying on like RNG Dead Cells, which is what put me off Dead Cells. Like, you're getting these free, random weapons at the start. You can... Sounds like Hades, you're able to pick your loadout a bit more.
A little bit, yes. So you can pick the weapon you want to take. You can pick an additional item that you want to take, which will give you some kind of effect as you're going through. So like more health, or certain items will allow you to pick a god. Like that's the first god that you will encounter. You know that if you're really good having like a Zeus build, you pick the item because you want to meet Zeus first, and then because he's turned up first, he'll turn up a lot more frequently than you would do, otherwise.
Yeah.
So you can kind of tailor yourself a little bit, but there is still that essence of randomness to it.
Of course, it's a roguelike.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm really enjoying it, and it's constantly sort of like pulling me back. And I find, even though that it was hard to get to grips with at first, you move through sort of like the first 10 rooms or something like that, and in the first area, and areas only really give you a different aesthetic and different enemy types. But you move through the first lot and you come to a boss. Then you move through the next lot and you come to a boss. And I got to a point where I think I'd hit the first boss maybe 5 or 6 times and not gone through them, and then suddenly a certain build worked for me and I got through the boss and progressed and then ended up back at the start again. But I think then maybe that the next 5 or 6 times I then beat that boss on that run, went straight through 5 or 6 times past that boss, straight through to the next set of things. And then an unlucky run where maybe I hadn't quite picked the rooms I wanted to go in very well, I hadn't picked my build very well, I was defeated, and then had a run of 5 defeats to that boss where I didn't progress any further. But I've got to a point, I've only had it for maybe like 3 or 4 days, and I think I've done, it tells you you can get an item in your room which tells you how many runs you've done, and I think I'm around about 20, something like that.
Okay.
And obviously the runs vary in length depending on how
I was
long
about to
you
ask
last
you,
for.
how long,
It's super difficult to kind of gauge how long I've actually played it for. But I think after about 20 runs I'm on the 3rd level as such, and I've kind of like got that far. But it's really interesting. It gives you a little bit of lore from the from the perspective of Hades' son. So how different gods have kind of like treated him and things. So it's a really nice game, and because it's in early access, it's constantly changing. They're constantly adding little bits. So suddenly I've played like 10 runs and suddenly something turns up and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this before, that's cool. And I know that in like whatever, because on the splash screen on the front it tells you like update in so many days, so they're going to drop something in so many days, and actually there's going to be something different to be able to go in and look at and play with and stuff. So I'm very much, I really like Supergiant's games, and I was very much up for kind of like, Hades was on my radar, and I was ready to kind of pay, whatever it was, like £15, something like that for it. But because of the Epic sale, and Epic's like, we'll take £10 off, I picked it up for like a £5.60, something like that. And I kind of, I'm not really sure how to feel about that.
Yeah,
I feel bad or not, because I don't really know how
that's a topic for
out.
another day.
Very much, yes. Yeah, we can definitely like deep dive into that. I still need to.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, because it looks cool. Like, I'm obviously just starting right from the start of Supergiant games, because there are always games that I've like appreciated from afar, but I've never thought that it'd gel with me. But in terms of like all of their games, when I saw Hades, it's like, yes, this is like the kind of gameplay that I like that hack and slash, as you say, combat, but it's the roguelike that's putting me off. Zagreus is the name of the protagonist.
Nice.
And if anyone hasn't watched Danny O'Dwyer's No Clips Developing Hell series, because that's really interesting.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Adam, have you had any interest in this game, or you a Supergiant fan?
No. I've done the same as you, Lucy, but I don't really buy into the roguelikes very much. I don't have much experience of playing them when I was younger or anything. And I don't have any real affinity with it. Yeah,
it's not something I like feeling progress, and obviously some roguelites or likes, you do get that progress, but it's just sometimes very minuscule and incremental. But ironically, I played a roguelike last week, and I really liked it, and I finished it, more to the point. And that roguelike is called Octogeddon. You
finished it?
I finished it.
Yeah, you hit that uninstall button.
I know. No, it's not Dead Cells. But this is it's a game from people who developed like Plants vs Zombies. So it's got the same like cartoonish art style. You're basically playing as an octopus who just wants to wreak havoc on Earth.
Nice.
But what's really interesting is, you're an octopus. Obviously, you got 8 limbs, but you only start out with 2, and then so you're a weird-looking octopus. But bear with me. It's basically like would I call it a bullet hell? I guess you could call it like a bullet hell shmup arcade game where you're this octopus just, going through the sea. It's kind of like side-scrolling-ish. And you can basically, you're basically killing enemies or like ships. You start off underneath the water and then you go onto land, which is ridiculous. So you're killing like tanks and, submarines and stuff like that. And you're basically equipping yourself with different kind of limbs. They're usually like attributed to like different animals. So like you can have a limb that is a penguin and it shoots frost and it freezes enemies. Or you can have a limb that's a porcupine and it like shoots spikes out.
Someone was definitely high when they started making it.
I think there's about 25 different animals. You have T-Rex, like cobra.
Or not a little
chicken.
T-Rex arm.
Yeah. And you're basically, earning currency. There's these treasure chests throughout the each level. You're earning currency. You're upgrading. You're either adding limbs or getting super specials basically that like can just pause all enemies or explode all enemies and stuff like that. But they're very limited. You can probably only use a couple, like 3, right before the mission ends. But yeah, you're basically equipping your weird octopus creature with all these different limbs, and it's very tactical, it's very strategic. It's like, okay, these enemies are going to show up this world. There's 5 worlds in total, each with I think 6 levels, so that's 30 levels in total. You go from like New York, destroying like Statue of Liberty, and then you go to like Sydney and destroy the Sydney Opera House, and then Paris and stuff like that. And it's like all these different enemies, appear in these different worlds. So it's like, these invisible, submarines are on world 4. I have to equip my octopus with this anglerfish, which can shine light on these submarines and make them appear or something like that. So there's a lot of strategy to it, and it's a lot of, where should I place these limbs? Should I place like these 2 like projectile limbs together, or should I put them on opposite sides of me and just have like heavy damage crab claw next to a porcupine, like or like a penguin, like stun them and then go clamp or whatever. It's more strategic than you'd think.
Nice, that's cool.
The cartoonish art style. It is a roguelike, so once you die, you do go back to World 1. You can buy an upgrade which makes you skip through the first 3 levels, but you're always starting in World 1. But yeah, it's like it's a lot of strategy. It's really fun gameplay, and if it wasn't, I wouldn't return back to it and keep going. I think I got very close to beating the in fact, on the 4th run, I got to the last level. On the 5th run, I got close to beating the final boss. I just messed up right at the end. And then on like the 6th run, I completed it. So you do feel the progression. It's not like one of those where it's like, oh my god, like Dead Cells. I hate to bang on that game because it is very good. But like, I'm not really getting anywhere. I'm not really leveling up. I'm not really getting XP or anything like that. This is very... you can complete it within a few hours, Maybe I probably paid like maybe between 6 to 10 hours probably.
Where did you play this?
On Switch. It came out on PC. The developers were kind enough to give me a code on Switch because I saw it on PC like a few months. This looks really cool. But yeah, Switch is the perfect place to play it, and it runs well. It's not graphically intensive or anything like that. It's got a very cartoonish art style. But yeah, it's a ton of fun, ton of strategy. There's a bit of RNG to it where it's like you can't really pick what your starting loadout and what weapons are gonna spawn, because it's basically after you finish each level, you can use your currency to do upgrades and add the different limbs and tentacles. But whatever loadout is there, that's randomized. So sometimes you might really bad start. But I found that even having a bad start in this game, it doesn't necessarily mean that the run is over. That could definitely be the run where you make more progress, so it's not the be and end all if you get a bad loadout at the start. But
that's good. That's a nice balance to it.
Yeah, it's really fun. I think it's only like £6, like £7 or something like that. It's got a weird price, like £6.88 or something. But yeah, it's on Steam and Switch. Yeah, it's really good. It's a roguelike. So out of character for me.
What are you doing,
but it's a good roguelike. Yeah, but you can tell the caliber. I mean, they've made Plants vs Zombies. They've obviously got the pedigree.
What's that developer called? Is it?
No, they split off. It's called All Yes Good. All Yes Good.
Were they high when they named that as well?
Yeah, are there any commas in there?
Throughout the whole development cycle. Probably on the thing.
That's a terrible name. So it's just people who were a part of the development team at Pop.
Yes, yeah.
They've made their own studio now. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
I was just wondering.
I think it's really flown under the radar. It's like several years ago. I think someone on Gaming Play. I was like, this looks like ridiculous fun. And it was like, oh, a Switch. Cool.
Like, oh, this is a Lucy game.
Yeah,
Done.
I love arcade games.
Mm.
Yeah, I played another arcade game. I don't know if I should talk about it now.
Up to you. Save it till next week. Give yourself some room to breathe a little bit. Play all these games.
Yeah, I'll talk about this one. That'll be my last one. I'll talk about SteamWorld Quest next week.
Yeah.
Unless anyone was dying to hear about it.
I am dying to hear about it, but I think I can wait.
You can wait.
For a bit more of an in-depth discussion, because the SteamWorld games are fantastic.
Because it's a card-based RPG, and I'll need to write notes because I know nothing about those kind of games. But my last game that I'll talk is called They Came From the Sky, which is a little arcade game on Steam. You can pick it up for £2. And you're basically... It's in the style of it's riffing on... What's that film? Like, It Came From Outer Space, like that kind of old 50s
like
/60s. Yeah. It's a pixel art arcade game where you're playing as the alien spaceship and you're abducting all these people. Nice. I plugged in a controller because I was like, oh, okay, I play most PC games with controller. And I was like, oh, actually, wait. To the controls, all you need is a mouse, you left click and you right click.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Basically, you have this UFO that's going from side to side. You don't even control the direction, except if you use your teleporting beam, it'll change direction, and you do that with the left click. And the right click you use to warp, just basically go faster from left to right. And you just click into abduct all these people, chickens, cats, birds, and it's just counting up your score. I think I've got up to... I think I hit 174 abductees.
In one run?
Yeah, in one run.
Yeah.
And, it started to get a bit crazy. It's like depending on which ship you have, you can collect coins and upgrade your ship. I've only managed to get one extra ship, but that had... Yeah, it was quicker, but it had less lives. You only have 2 lives on the starter ship. Things start to get crazy. People shooting at you. There's missiles, suicide bombers climbing on the side of the screen. It gets a bit tough, but it's like a fun clicker game. Price of nothing.
But it's a clicker game, but it's much more like an arcade kind of bullet hell clicker game.
Yeah, it's clicker in the fact that it's it's not really intensive controller wise and mechanical wise, but it's a fun arcade game. It's usually when I'm just watching something I'll usually go on like freetetris.org or some crap like that. And it's like, no, I'll just play from They Came From the Sky instead.
Yeah.
That's much more fun. It's like Ding Dong XL. And everyone, have you played Ding Dong XL, either of you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Get on it, Adam.
You've been able to get it for like 80p for about 5
Yes.
years now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good fun. Came to Switch, bought it on Switch as well. For like, it actually didn't have the Switch taxes. Me think it's going to cost like £10. I think it costs like 89p or something. Like, good parity.
At last,
Yes.
one game.
Yeah. But yes, They Came From the Sky from Phobia Interactive. I think it's one dude. Fun game.
That's very cool. So, if that's your last game, Lucy,
Yes.
I've got 2 that I kind of briefly want to touch on. Adam,
Yes.
before we do, have you got anything you want to? You got any games you've been playing that you want to just touch on, talk about a little bit?
Not that I've been playing, but there is a game that a wee callback from a couple of weeks ago when I was on before. Yeah, I talked about like the Romance of the Three Kingdoms,
Yeah.
Stuff. Well, there's a game came out this week from Creative Assembly, which is Total War Three Kingdoms.
Oh yes.
I'm sure most people are probably familiar with the Total War game, Rome or Shogun or whatever. And this is the first time doing, the Three Kingdoms era in China. So if you have any interest in that and you like, the grand strategy, Total War type games, then go pick that up because that will be excellent. I haven't managed to buy it myself yet because I'm poor, but I will be buying it very shortly once I'm not so poor anymore.
It sounds like an Adam game.
Yeah, I have heard it's very different to the previous Total War games as well. Brings in a lot of other elements.
The main change that they've made this time, obviously the Total War games, they're historical based, so they pick in a time period, like the Roman Empire or Shogun, which is the Warring States period in Japan and stuff like that, and they try and make it kind of as broadly realistic to that as they can. But the main difference with this one is because of the influence of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms novels, the actual generals and stuff, the characters are much more important. And the way that the novel tells the stories of the battles and stuff like that is more about the two generals going up and tangling with one another and actually fighting, as opposed to the armies themselves fighting as much, and that being a pivotal part of how the fights go. That's probably not particularly historical. That's definitely a more creative flourish from the author of the book. So they brought that. They've reflected that in making this game. So they've got the 2 versions. They've got Records version, which is more like a typical Total War game where the characters, the generals and stuff like that, are just the same as they've been in the other ones. They've got their group of bodyguards and their cavalry units, and they've got their normal amount of health points and stuff, and you use them normally. And then they've got the Romance version, which is where all of that's really hammed up, and you can get them, you can send, your generals with they've got different specialities, like you get strategists and warrior type ones and stuff like that. And the warrior type ones are really good at just they can take on whole units of armies themselves. And there's some that specialize in fighting other generals, have one another and all that. It adds a completely whole other element to how you would approach the game. As well as they've changed loads of other stuff, as they always do with these things. The changes to the diplomacy systems, and and all the factions have interesting different quirks that make them all different. So you play differently depending on who you pick to be, stuff like that. All of that's still, different to each game as it always is. But that's the kind of main difference, is the characters themselves are much more pivotal to everything than they used to be. So I'm very looking forward to getting stuck into that, because it's
nice. When you've played it, you come back on.
Yes.
I will.
Remind
You probably-
ourselves of this conversation, and we'll come back on and be like, yeah, it's not quite what I said.
I hate it.
Either that or it'll be. It was fine, but once I got the mods in, that's the one benefit of playing on PCs. Like, if there's anything wrong with it, someone will make a mod for it.
True.
Once I had Goku running around the battlefield.
Is that what Creative Assembly are up to now then? Are they
What's
doing
that?
anything else? Is that what Creative Assembly are doing now then? Like, have they got any other projects or?
I know the Warhammer Total Warhammer 2 or Total Warhammer 2 didn't come out that long ago,
Okay.
and that's being updated quite a lot.
Yeah, so they're just adding to
Creative
their
Assembly have
existing games.
got. There's at least
There are a couple of
3
teams.
teams, I think.
Oh,
in
okay.
Creative Assembly, because you've had they've got a few, because they've had this version, the Three Kingdoms. They've had the Warhammer team.
Right. Yeah.
Not so long ago, they had Total War Saga, the Thrones of Britannia, which is
Yes.
it's just a new thing they started where they're taking a kind of it's a smaller slice of history and much more focused kind of, because the Roman Empire spans the whole of Europe, Northern Africa, and into the Middle East. Whereas Thrones of
For
Britannia
hundreds and hundreds of years.
whereas Thrones of Britannia was just about the British Isles and the fighting amongst the different kings and stuff in that part.
Sounds like there's a lot to learn from these games. Historical that I could do with.
Or you could play tabs and not worry about any of it.
That's true, yeah, because it's totally accurate,
So they've got multiple teams, so there'll be other projects in the works that they've maybe not announced. And then obviously they support the games quite well, and there'll be DLC packs and all sorts that will come
That's
along.
good. So is this what is it, Three Kingdoms one? Is it a standalone game or is it?
Yeah, it's a full mainline game, the same as like Total War Rome or.
Okay, I didn't realise they were separate games, but that's because I know nothing about strategy games. I thought it was like, I get Total War and I get Warhammer and I get them all. I get the Vermin one and everything. Or whatever.
I'm sure Steam do a thing where you could buy all of them.
Yeah,
but it
in a
costs you a
bundle.
lot.
Hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
I would imagine so. That's one to
Well,
stick
you're
in the wish list
thousands
to
of
wait for a
hours,
sale.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Those are the kind of games where
Evergreen.
you can play them loads and loads of times through. There's lots of different factions to pick, and every game, like campaign that you do will be different
Yes.
because you've got the AI element of the other factions. So they don't do the exact same thing every time, and they don't do, what historically they would have done. They'll just do whatever they feel like doing based on the campaign map and
and
the AI protocols that they've got. So it's always different.
Yeah, and with Warhammer, they've done very well in the integration between Warhammer and Warhammer 2. In that Warhammer 2, introduced a few different new armies that were part of like the New World. So you had like the old Empire with the first sort of like, so it was the Empire and a few other armies, vampire counts and stuff versus Chaos and things. And then with the New World, it's like lizardmen and elves and all of these other things. And actually, they've integrated the two between them. So actually, if you own them both, you can fight the armies they've got in 2 versus the armies they have in 1. And there's an overarching campaign between the two games. That I think they're planning a trilogy. So there'll be a Total War Warhammer 3 at some point, which will just bring everything together and stuff. So they're very good at building on what they've done previously and allowing you to, if you are a fan and you have, multiple games, at least in the Warhammer games, then you can kind of, play with what you've got and everything that you've got, which is really nice. It's not kind of like, here's a sequel and nothing that you've done in the first game actually means anything. It's kind of like, actually, with this style of game, we want you to be able to have these battles and do different things in different places and stuff. So it's really, really nice for them to be able to kind of to provide that. So, doing some good work.
They are.
Favorite developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, they've got good pedigree, haven't they?
Yeah,
Well, they've been
definitely.
doing it a long fucking time.
Yes, true.
So, I think the final. I've got a couple of games. I'll just chat about as our final part. They're both very little games. One of which is the first one I'm going to talk about, is Roundabout.
Oh, the taxi game.
Yeah, the limo taxi game,
Yeah.
which isn't really a limo taxi game, because you're not taxiing people from, you're not randomly taxiing people. It's not like Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, no.
You're not randomly. You are very much following a set path between 2 points to take a character across a place. So it's much more of a sort of a puzzle game, but you essentially control a limo which is constantly spinning.
Yeah, it's not like a pivot.
Yeah. So it's just constantly spinning, and occasionally you hit something and it will spin the other way. But it's sort of like a puzzle game where there's things in the way, there's cars that move, and you've got to get from point A to point B along this set path and just navigate your way through it.
It moves like
take me
a
very long.
slinky, almost like top to toe, top to toe, top to toe.
Almost. And yeah, I do find that I'm gonna, for the people not looking at YouTube and doing some hand motions, but you kind of like, you move into a space and you move as the car spins, you then move out of the space and you move into a space and you move out, and you kind of, you're almost looping and doing sort of like semicircles around different things to kind of get your way around. And there's loads of things to unlock, which I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do all the collectibles and stuff. I played it through to sort of like completion, but the real selling point about this game is all of the footage, scenes of characters saying, "Hey, I'm here. I want to go and you take me to this place," and how like hammy the actors have done it, and how like B-movie they've made it. It's brilliant, and the music they've used is really good. Just this like bass, like bang, 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 bang. And it's just so good in the way that they've made it. This kind of like B-movie-esque type thing, with this almost slightly annoying gameplay that I've got to do between these, these scenes that I kind of want to see, and how these people have really hammed it up in what they're actually doing.
That's
the real selling
hard
point.
on that game. Yeah, I think I got like most of the collectibles.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, mate. I think it would
for the
take me a little
achievements.
bit of time. Well, yeah, there's a lot of achievements attached to those things, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it was free on. It was either Game Pass or like it was something on Xbox. It might have been
Well, I
Game
think
Pass.
it was free on PlayStation Plus a couple of months ago.
Oh,
And
right, okay.
just
Yeah.
the other night, I was just scrolling through my library, and I do not know what I want to play.
I'll
Let's
play
try
this
this.
random game.
And I think I then played it maybe for over three maybe like 1 hour sessions or something like that. I went, yeah, I'm done with this. That's fine. I've experienced it. It's okay.
Yeah, it's good fun. It is very much in like the vein of Crazy Taxi almost, but yeah, I need to play Crazy Taxi. I've had it downloaded on my hard drive for a while.
I love Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, it's so
It's such a
good.
good game.
Yeah, it's on my Xbox.
Dreamcast.
Should play that. I bought Altered Beast today, just for the crack of it,
What?
because it's terrible.
Why?
Because I got my like Sega book, Sega Master System book.
Nice.
I was just
Yeah,
flicking
yeah,
through
yeah.
it, and I was like, Altered Beast. And Giant Bomb did like a thing like last year with Altered Beast, and it's just so bad. I was like, you know what, I want to go back. See how bad it actually is. But, yeah.
So did you eschew buying the Castlevania collection? And
Oh, I
moved on
bought
straight
that.
for-
I bought that on
okay.
Switch. I just haven't touched it. Like, yeah. Can't wait to play some Castlevania 2. Not Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. I meant 2 TOO. I'm never playing Simon's Quest. That game's stupid. It's
Don't do
awful.
that. Don't do that. What is it? What's the other? Oh, is it 3 that's really bad?
No, 3's really good.
Is it 3
Three's
really
good.
good?
3's basically 1, but 3. with more characters to play as. But I don't. But it wasn't on the NES Classic, so I'm looking forward to
okay.
because I played. What was it last year? I had that binge where I played
Yes.
1, 4, and Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the Night, yeah.
Yeah, I think this has Kid Dracula, and I don't think it has Rondo, which is a
No,
shame.
because didn't there was that,
The
that little
PlayStation one, yeah.
duo, which was Symphony of the Night and Rondo
Which
of
is
Blood, wasn't it?
Apparently, not too good. Bit shabby. It is Konami, but yeah, apparently, apparently that collection wasn't the best. Apparently, the best way to play Symphony of the Night is still on Xbox through backwards compatible. But yeah, I'll check out Kid Dracula and the other Game Boy one. His name escapes me, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Good. So, the last game. Oh, no, sorry, Adam. Have you played Roundabout?
No, I haven't.
Have you played Castlevania?
No.
Oh!
Have you played Altered Beast?
Nope.
Good. Don't play
don't
it.
play Altered Beast. Missed that one.
Power.
You could probably miss Roundabout as well, but if you do want to play a, we've chatted about a lot of like smaller games this week, but I think one of my favourite shorter games in recent memory that I played last week was Forgotton Anne.
Yes, I need to get to this.
The art style is absolutely fantastic. It
Yeah.
is very Ghibli-esque, and that's not just in the scenes. You know, it's not like Ni no Kuni where you have these very Ghibli-esque scenes and then you jump to this 3D kind of trying to ape a Ghibli-esque kind of aesthetic in a 3D world. Forgotten Anne is a 2D side-scroller, and it really, really uses that art style so well. And it has a very prescient kind of story. It allows you to kind of have a little bit of choice through there as well in terms of what you want to do with the kind of like the main mechanic, which is being able to distill energy from certain things to then be able to use to be able to progress through the levels. You can get that from like containers that are lying around, or you can distill from people that or people objects that are about, and like personified objects almost, because you are Anne and you are in the land of like forgotten things. So there's lots of items around, so like shoes or fridges and loads of different items, lights and things like that, which people have like forgotten, and they've ended up in this realm sort of thing. And as Anne, you're a human, and you are to everyone else, you're kind of like the other, really. And everyone's a bit scared of you because you're this like enforcer kind of character. And dependent on the way you play it, through dialogue choices and kind of like the decisions you make, you can kind of stay that kind of like enforcer character, or you can soften to these characters. And there's a big decision at the end about kind of like how you want to finish and stuff. Really heartfelt, really well animated, just a very, very good experience for maybe 5 or 6 hours, something like
Oh, is that how long it is?
Maybe.
Perfect. No, is it not? I'm just gonna say.
Do it. I mean, it's on.
I've had it on Xbox. Yeah, it's on everything at this point.
It is on everything. I think it was on sale for like £6 on PSN last week. I don't know if it still is now.
It was on sale on. It's quite often on sale, to be honest. One I've always wanted to pick it up. It's, I believe it's part of the Square Enix collective.
Yes, it is.
Indie games. Yeah, it's one I've wanted for quite some time. It was like previewed for like years and years and years. Finally came out. If anyone's struggling to find it, it's Forgotten spelt with an O for some reason instead of an E.
Instead of the E, yes.
Yeah, I don't know why. Is that even explained?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. They've used the O as a clock as well.
But in the game description, Forgotten spelt with like an E, the Forgotten Lands. Who knows? How Long to Beat says it's about 7 hours. That's my kind of length. So I'll probably try and get Xbox sooner rather than later since
Yeah.
you've given a glowing review.
Definitely do. Definitely, it's really good.
Yeah, I really
didn't
do.
expect
It's like
it.
I bought
I
it
did
and it's
not
like I haven't
expect
played
that.
it.
Didn't
it's
expect it from that game
beautiful.
at all.
Yeah, because there's a demo on Switch, and it's also on sale for the rest of the day on Switch, although this podcast goes up tomorrow. So, unlucky. But,
And on Switch, it's about £460. So.
yes. But there's a demo on Switch, so play it. Because I played that and was like, yes, this art style's great, and it was on sale on Switch and Xbox at the same time, so I'll play it on Xbox. And I never got around to it, so I should have bought it on Switch.
Same as everything, Lucy, isn't it? It's like, should I buy this on Switch? No, I won't.
I hate
Yeah,
my
sure.
Xbox. I hate my PS4. I should just buy everything on PC and Switch. I never
That's it.
learn.
It's the only two systems you need.
Yeah. Really,
Well,
yes.
apart from robot dinosaurs.
Yes, I will rent a PS4 from Blockbuster every time they have an exclusive out.
Oh,
That's
Adam,
what I need, like a lonely, PS4 that I play once
true.
a year.
just like your next door neighbour, you can just knock on their door like, can I play this game, please?
Xbox, it's still on PC. It's fine.
Exactly. Adam, have you heard of Forgotten Anne? You played it at all?
No, I haven't actually, but
Check it
I'm
out.
definitely going to check out the trailers and stuff for it, since how you said that it has such a nice art style.
Mm-hmm. It
So,
does.
at the very least, I'll enjoy the trailer.
You'll take some time to investigate.
That's all we ask of Adam.
Exactly, that's all
we ask.
anyone can ask, apart from the developers who want your money. And Square Enix, who've got tons of money, but they still want your money. That's fine. It's definitely one of those that it's an odd one, because it kind of, as you say, Lucy, it came from the Square Enix collective. It's kind of their equivalent of like Child of Light, you know, their little shorter kind of experimental sort of game, where they're trying to help out, trying to make money from indie developers, to kind of bolster their library of games alongside all the bigger ones that they're sort of putting out and things. So,
And they've all been good so far. Like, they've got a good track record with that scheme.
yeah, definitely. The Quiet Man wasn't part of the Square Enix collective, was it?
No, do not. No. It's poor indie developers. No, they had nothing to do
The Quiet Man
with
was
that.
just a Square Enix game. Like,
That was just a train wreck. You know what? There's so many things that I rewatch, you know, every few years, you know, like, I don't know, Jurassic Park and stuff like that. I need to watch Giant Bomb play The Quiet Man on, I think it was their Extra Life stream, so they play through the whole of it. I think I need to watch that again, because it's just gold. It's just gold.
So, Adam, rather than watching the trailer for Forgotten Anne, go and watch the replay of the live stream of Giant Bomb playing The Quiet Man, because it is such a bad fucking game.
It's awful, and it's really racist. Not only is it a bad game, it's just insensitive in every kind of to deaf people, to Hispanic people, to just minorities in general.
How have we come round to this fucking game? How does it pop up every now and again? Like, just like, what?
Because it's the game of the generation.
Yeah.
It genuinely is. It's like, oh, games like this can still be made. And shown at E3 by a big publisher. Oh,
Yes.
game of the generation.
I did see a game on boosted. I think it was on. It might have been on PlayStation's YouTube page, called Back in 1995,
Oh yeah, I saw that. What is that?
which looks super Silent Hilly, super Resident Evil kind of fixed camera positions, tank controls, super walking through, and there's you know, like beasts and monsters and things that you have to kind of like fight and stuff like that. Very sort of atmospheric. That looks quite cool.
I'll
It
check that
sounds
out.
very frustrating.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, no doubt. That is like a head-butting the screen
Fixed
game.
camera is
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah,
You could
you
just play
you spend your entire time with the analog sticks. Why do you Yes.
Yes.
I just chop you off my controller.
It's £9.99. Oh.
Oh, it's out.
Yeah. It's on Switch. I saw it on. It came out on Xbox as well. You say it's on PlayStation. It's on everything.
I didn't realise it was out. I thought I saw like a preview for it, or at least
No, it is out.
Well, the screen doesn't quite work. Are you ready? There you go, Adam.
Yeah, I didn't realise it had this like old art style.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah, with the CRT flicker.
Yeah, it's very silent. For
Yeah,
sure.
completely. And you'd hope that maybe they've refined. You know, it isn't just a straight up copy of something like that. That they've refined those mechanics,
Controls,
maybe
yeah.
for
How
modern
far can you refine
sensibilities.
them, really?
I don't know.
Tank controls are a bit hard to get right.
But maybe they've worked it out.
Maybe they've cracked the code.
Who knows until
was that-
someone plays it and tells us.
It was that dog at that computer who actually made.
That's- Just smashing the keyboard randomly. Good. Right.
Best ending to a game ever.
Best ending to a podcast ever. Let's finish there for this week. Adam, how was the Ribena? Better this week or better the previous week?
Better this week actually.
Oh,
What's
good.
the
We'll tell
difference?
Ribena.
What's the difference?
That
Well, that
right
was a-
temperature.
That's
4
it.
degrees.
A fresh jug that I made yesterday, whereas it
Oh.
had been a couple of days since the other one.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No, drink fresh,
Right.
mate. Drink fresh.
I just got the better mixture this time round. I got the ratio right this time.
Yeah, nice. That's good.
Perfect.
Lucy, out of the two beers that you had, which did you prefer?
I preferred. I don't know if prefer is the right word. Maybe it
Okay.
is.
Hated the least.
Yes. What I was more surprised by, at least, was definitely the Black Sheep Pineapple Shake IPA. Wasn't expecting a lot from it, especially just picking it up in a supermarket, because there was, I think there was Vocation there, and
Yeah.
what were they? Rooster, also Black Assassin. No, not Black Assassin.
Oh, yes.
Assassins,
Babyface Assassin.
Babyface Assassin. not
Yes.
Black. That's me. I was like, there wasn't much selections. I'll try this. But yeah, it does what it says on the tin. You get in the pineapple, you get in the like vanilla milkshake, that bit of lactose too. Thicken it up a bit. It's not too heavy, refreshing, not too sweet. Yeah, that's the winner today. Like the Whiplash was very nice. It didn't taste like 2.8%. It didn't taste that light at all. It had, tons of flavour packed in as well, but just from, being able to get through pineapple, very hard flavour to convey in beer. Yeah, the Black Sheep takes it today.
Nice. Cool. I think for me, it's my second beer, which is I was going to say Local Poly, but it's not anymore. Polly's Brew Co. The Sentinel, which was a Simcoe IPA. Just a really good single hop beer. I say it's a single hop beer. That is the only hop that they say that is in it, so I'm assuming it is a single hop beer. But it's just really easy. Simcoe's such a nice fucking hop to drink.
It is.
The Wild Horse, the Serpent and the Worm, was a nice, light, easy saison, but it didn't give me very much. That was, it was just a very kind of middle of the road saison, really, not giving me much. It also, the artwork kind of alludes perhaps a little bit to a Japanese aesthetic, at least on the artwork,
Yeah.
but.
I'm surprised it didn't say yuzu.
Well, but that's what I'm thinking. Like, I didn't get anything. Didn't get any of that in the beer. Like, why have they picked this versus, So, yeah, a nice, easy saison. Very easy. If you just want a very easy drinking, slightly spiced beer that's refreshing at the end of the day, then this is worth picking up. But if you want something a bit heavier hitting, that's going to give you a big kind of flavour with a lot of piney sort of resinous notes, then the Centennial was the one to pick up, definitely. And it's nice to kind of to see that Polly's Brew Co haven't dropped in quality. You know, it wasn't a kind of like, you need to change your name, and the guys there went, oh, fuck, all right, okay, we've got to deal with this. Let's kind of like, our minds are on other things. Like, they've still just like smashing out really tasty beers.
Yeah.
So that's nice to see as well.
Yeah, beers are really good.
Hooray! Beers are really good, Adam.
Yeah.
Adam. Beers are really good, Adam.
You should try it sometime.
If you say so.
Scotland with... Hey, you live in the land of Brewdog. You have no excuse.
You got loads of good beers up there. Fierce.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
Just be glad that I managed to hold in my sighs. Well, you weren't doing all of your chat about how nice.
So whilst we're glad Adam has a side, Adam, if people want to talk to you about the games they've been playing, all the beers that they've been drinking, how do they do so?
They can find me on most things at Aadil 1994. That's Discord, PlayStation, Steam, the usual. I'm sure they can find me on Facebook using that somehow, although I'm not sure.
Well,
What about looking at your nice plants on Instagram? Which I'm enjoying.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. That. Yeah, that's one of the ones where some fucking dick has taken my handle. Yeah. Mr. One fucking picture from like 80 years ago or something.
yeah.
So yeah, on Instagram it's Alan Thomas 270194.
It was at the year you were born, 2071 or something.
Almost.
Good. And also, you had an article go out this week about, as you have done last week and previously last year, you had a few articles go up about the podcast that you've been listening to.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm really not on the.
No.
I've been too busy
It's been a long
sighing
day,
under my
yeah.
breath. That's all. It's distracted me.
Takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, on outoflives.net, I've got Out of Pods. I've got a few going up. Podcasts I've been listening to, I reviewed them. The one this week, it was the Cam podcast that I spoke about when I was last on last week. So this week it was All Killer No Filler podcast, which is about serial killers. Which is interesting. So if you're interested,
which from your write up I am checking out tomorrow as soon as I log on, as soon as I come onto my computer tomorrow. That is the one I'm going to be looking for.
Yeah. Maybe you should check out Mall Over. Review that one for me.
Yeah, well, I've got a rugby one coming up.
Okay.
So, keep an eye out for that, Lucy.
I will do.
So, Lucy,
Yes.
if people want to talk to you about the rugby podcast that they're listening to, how do they do so?
It's Juicy Loose 9 everywhere. Instagram, because I post there now.
Ooh.
Twitter, Xbox, Steam, PS4, and Untapped. Everywhere.
All of those places. Good. I am at Nova_47 almost everywhere, and we are Tanked Up Cast almost everywhere, or Tanked Up _cast over on Twitter. Get in touch. Tell us what you're drinking. Tell us the games that you've been playing. Yes, Lucy, that is the time. Right, viewers, you can see how late into the night we drink. Not really that late.
Yeah.
Probably time for another beer, isn't it, Lucy?
Oh God, yeah. I'll put two
Adam,
more in the
time for
fridge.
you to go and have another beer. So, everyone, go to outoflives.net. Look at all the articles that are posted up there. Listen to the other podcasts like The Glorious Movie Show. Or read about why I thought Game of Thrones ended okay. Fuck off, everyone. So...
Or out of rupees.
So for another week we've been... Oh yeah, Rubies, you've got an episode going up at some point this week.
Yes, because the lovely Adam will be editing it. So...
Tomorrow, Adam? Saturday, Adam? Monday, Adam? Tuesday, Adam?
I'll probably publish it Monday. give me the weekend to actually bother my arse editing it.
Because he's a good lad.
That's fair.
Very good lad.
Good. Cool. So that's it for another week. You've been tagged up. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Ciao.
Ah, yes. Gotta get in a chow.
Go get the chow.
Yeah.
www.outoflives.net